This is a limb bone. You can see the trabecular bone inside where I broke this piece away. This is already yielding soft tissues. So this is a vertebra, Nanotyrannus vertebra. This is really producing some really interesting clots, which you're going to see. In fact, here they are. So what I did is I lightly decalcified this. This is pre-decalcification. What is decalcification? It's a weak acid. EDTA is a weak acid that is used in hospitals every day of the week to dissolve bones, human bones. So when you go in and you have a pathology in your bone and they take a section of it, a biopsy of it, they process that. They put it through decal. They get rid of all the bone mineral and they look at the tissue to find the disease. We're doing the exact same thing on bones that are supposed to be so old that they've turned into rock. But folks, they're all bones. The numbers of permineralized specimens that we come up with are mostly rare. It's this that is common. So most people are under the mistaken impression that these are rock, and they're not rock. We're using standard protocols to dissolve them. So when I dissolved this a little bit, I put it in decal for just a couple of days just to see what would happen. And it exposed the layer of compact bone just below the outer shaft of bone, and you can see all of these Haversian blood canals in here. So these are the blood canals where the blood vessels travel. Every single one of them is clotted. And that's at the surface. We haven't even gotten into the interior of the bone yet, right? So this is systemic clotting all the way to the edge of the bone. So that was pretty exciting. Here's a magnified clot from this lower power micrograph here. So I magnified it. You can see the Haversian canal. Here's the Haversian bone. Any anatomist will recognize this. And that's the vessel. You can see the thin vessel wall in here and the clot on the inside. So clot after clot after clot after clot we have photographed. There's also another very interesting phenomena that happens when iron from the blood is reduced through oxidation, Fe2O3 or I guess it's Fe2S with sulfide. But they make these framboids. These are little circles. A lot of people have commented, oh, those are red blood cells. No, they're not. When iron is exposed to oxidation, it forms these circular framboids. And they're prevalent in these canals. And so we see them not only in decalcified bone where we've exposed a little bit of the canal, but we also see them in thin sections. All the thin sections that we make are full of these framboids also inside the canals. And I think I have some pictures of that to show you. Here's a little higher magnification. You can see these little tiny framboids in here. That's all iron. So this is the remnants of the blood. You can see the canals. There's a canal, there's a canal, there's a canal. They're all going that way into the bone. And so this is the iron left over from the blood. So when we make a thin section then of the bone, we can see the canal. This is the bone canal here. And all of this dark stuff, that's the clot. You can see it going off into another canal. See this little canal here? So this is probably a Volkmann canal between two Haversian canals. But this is all clotted blood. It's all crystallized. Here's a framboid. Okay? So now you're seeing a framboid in thin section. And then we put it under UV. And looky there. This whole framboid is iron. So that's iron from the blood. These are probably crystallized blood proteins in the center. So we had a physician look at some of our iron pictures, and he started naming all the proteins that he could see crystallized in there. So there are smart enough people who know what these things are and can name them. But this is from the Camarasaurus. So this is the animal that Dr. Baugh is digging out of the ground in Colorado. And we went there, was that 2 years ago, I think? And we got those specimens, and we did a preliminary test with the UV, and now we believe we've got a project with the Camarasaurus, which is a really big animal. It had that big Diplodocus-like neck and small head, big body, big legs, long tail, you know, probably 35, 40 feet long. all told. So he's a big animal and he's been studied a lot. So this is going to make a big splash if we can go into the bones that Dr. Baugh has already collected and identify, rib, vertebra, things like that, femurs, limb bones. Once we identify the bone that we're working with, then we can talk about its anatomy properly in the publication. So that's a project that we're really looking forward to working on. This is a picture of first decal of some of that nanotyrannus. So these are the first fibers that we pulled out of this nanotyrannus bone. It has a crosshatch right there. This is a diagnostic feature. The way nerves are constructed, there are tissues called epineurium and perineurium that go around the vessel in a crosshatch pattern, like a double helix all the way around. That's an insulation around the nerves, right, that transmit electrical signals. Yeah? So just like your coax cable has a rubber coating on the outside to insulate it, these nerves are insulated with a similar tissue that adopts that same conformation, that same structure. So this is what's called a diagnostic feature. When you see this crosshatch in a fiber that glows in polarized light, you know you have a nerve. Now, not only are we finding nerves, but we're finding lipids. And I'm going to show you those in a second. But these are pictures of the Permian dig that we did in May in Oklahoma. Here's the dimetrodon femur that we talked about this morning. So yeah, you want to watch that video.